If a single act of kindness could change someone's entire future, would you still choose to walk away when everyone else did? On a cold, gray afternoon, while dozens of people laughed, stared, and pretended not to notice an elderly woman being humiliated in the middle of a crowded shopping plaza, one exhausted single father carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders made a decision that would transform not only her life but his own forever. He had no money, no powerful connections, and no idea that the quiet woman everyone dismissed was the mother of one of the most successful billionaire CEOs in the country. What happened next proved that true wealth is never measured by a bank account but by the courage to stand beside someone when nobody else will. Before we continue, if you believe kindness still matters, that every person deserves respect, and that one good deed can change a life, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that remind us humanity is still alive. Marcus Hill had learned long ago that life rarely gave second chances. At 36, he woke before sunrise every morning, prepared breakfast for his 8-year-old daughter Lily, packed her school lunch, and hurried to a maintenance job that barely paid enough to cover rent, groceries, and the endless bills that arrived each month. Since losing his wife to a sudden illness 4 years earlier, every day felt like climbing a mountain with no summit in sight. He often skipped meals so Lily could enjoy fresh fruit instead of canned food. He repaired his own worn-out shoes with glue because buying new ones meant sacrificing something his daughter needed more. Yet despite the constant exhaustion, Marcus refused to let bitterness enter his heart. His greatest dream was simple. He wanted Lily to grow up believing that kindness was stronger than hardship. One Saturday afternoon, after finishing an extra shift, Marcus took Lily to the downtown shopping district because she needed inexpensive school supplies. The plaza buzzed with life as families carried shopping bags, musicians performed cheerful melodies, and expensive cars lined the streets. Marcus felt slightly out of place among the designer stores and polished sidewalks, but Lily smiled as she admired colorful window displays, making every sacrifice worthwhile. As they walked toward a discount bookstore, Marcus noticed a growing crowd near the entrance of a luxury cafe. People were recording videos with their phones while whispering and laughing. Curious but cautious, he guided Lily closer, only to discover an elderly woman sitting on the pavement beside scattered grocery bags. Fresh fruit rolled across the sidewalk while broken jars leaked onto her worn coat. Her trembling hand struggled to collect the ruined groceries as several impatient customers complained that she was blocking the walkway. No one bent down to help. Instead, they simply watched. The woman wore clean but old-fashioned clothes carefully repaired many times. Her silver hair was neatly tied back despite the embarrassment she clearly felt. Tears filled her tired eyes as strangers avoided looking directly at her, treating her as though she were invisible. Marcus noticed a cane lying several feet away, suggesting she had fallen after someone accidentally, or perhaps carelessly, bumped into her. Without hesitation, Marcus handed Lily the shopping bag and knelt beside the woman. He carefully gathered the fruit that could still be saved, wiped dirt from unopened containers, and gently helped her sit on a nearby bench. Lily quietly collected the remaining groceries while smiling warmly at the elderly stranger. The crowd slowly dispersed, disappointed that the scene was no longer entertaining. Marcus examined the damaged grocery bags and realized much of the woman's food had been ruined beyond use. Judging by her modest clothing, replacing everything would be difficult. Although his wallet contained barely enough cash for Lily's school supplies and groceries for the week, he walked into the nearest supermarket and purchased fresh bread, milk, fruit, vegetables, soup, and a warm blanket that happened to be on sale. As the cashier announced the total, Marcus silently accepted that he would need to postpone paying another bill. When he returned, the elderly woman stared at the new groceries with disbelief. Her hands shook as she looked from the bags to Marcus and then to Lily, unable to understand why strangers would show her such compassion. Marcus simply smiled and carried the groceries to her small apartment a few blocks away. The apartment building revealed how difficult her life had become. The elevator no longer worked, the hallways were dimly lit, and many doors showed signs of neglect. Inside her tiny apartment, however, everything was spotless. Family photographs covered one wall, each carefully dusted despite the modest surroundings. Marcus noticed several pictures of a young man graduating from university, receiving business awards, and standing beside enormous office buildings. The woman quietly explained that her son had become very successful but was constantly traveling for work overseas. She rarely asked him for help because she never wanted to burden him. Marcus admired her dignity. He fixed a loose kitchen cabinet before leaving, replaced a broken light bulb using one from his maintenance toolbox, and even repaired the apartment's leaking faucet in less than 15 minutes. These were small tasks for him, but they made the elderly woman's home feel safer and brighter. Over the following weeks, Marcus and Lily visited whenever they could. Sometimes they brought homemade soup. Other times Marcus repaired another small problem around the apartment. Lily read books aloud while the elderly woman smiled with the quiet joy of someone who had been lonely for far too long. They never expected anything in return. Their visits became part of their routine simply because helping someone felt right. What Marcus never realized was that the photographs on the wall belonged to Daniel Carter, the founder and CEO of one of the nation's fastest-growing technology companies. Daniel had spent months expanding his business across several countries, believing his mother was living comfortably because she always insisted everything was fine during their short phone calls. She never mentioned the fall, the loneliness, or the strangers who mocked her. She only spoke about the kind single father and his daughter who had reminded her that goodness still existed in the world. One evening, Daniel unexpectedly returned home after canceling an international meeting. He wanted to surprise his mother before her birthday. As he entered the apartment carrying flowers, he immediately noticed the repaired cabinet, the fixed faucet, fresh groceries, and something even more valuable than any expensive gift. His mother was smiling in a way he had not seen for years. When she told him about Marcus and Lily, Daniel listened in silence. Every detail filled him with gratitude and regret. He realized that while he had built a billion-dollar company solving complicated problems, he had overlooked the simple responsibility of making sure the person who sacrificed everything for him never felt alone. Determined to meet the family who had shown such extraordinary kindness without expecting recognition, Daniel quietly asked his mother to invite Marcus and Lily for tea the following weekend. Marcus accepted, believing it would be another ordinary visit to help a lonely neighbor. He had no idea that the next knock on that apartment door would introduce him to the billionaire CEO whose life was about to intersect with his own in ways he could never imagine. The greatest reward for kindness was closer than he ever expected, but it would arrive not as charity, but as an opportunity born from compassion and genuine human decency.